Greetings, everyone. Today, I'll introduce you to the 2018 prehistoric adventure film Alpha. It transports us 20,000 years into the past, deep into prehistoric Europe. Here, a brave band of hunters, led by Ta, readies themselves for a daring encounter with a herd of steppe bison. Their strategy involves crafting a formidable spear barrier that forces the bison into a frenzied stampede, but not all flee. 3 remain, and one mighty bull fixates on Tas and Kita. In a brutal confrontation, the bull mercilessly assaults Tas, ultimately dragging him perilously close to a cliff's edge. Tragedy strikes as Kita plummets into the abyss after Tas manages a final, desperate spear thrust against the charging beast. Yet, this saga begins a week prior when the tribe's young adolescents face a critical test of their spear-making prowess. Amongst the young, only Kita and his companion Kappa prove their mettle, earning the honor of joining the final hunting expedition before the harsh winter descends, and they receive a blessing from the village shaman around the campfire. Late one night, Kita pretends to sleep but eavesdrops on a conversation between Ta and his mother. Ro questions Kita's readiness for the hunt, as he leads with his heart rather than his spear. However, Ta firmly believes that Kita must step up and prove himself to the tribe. The next morning, the hunting party bids farewell to their loved ones and receives the shaman's blessing. Ro even gives Kita an additional piece of fur for protection. As they journey across the land, they follow the sacred path left by their ancestors, a trail of rock sculptures and hand paintings that guide them to the hunting grounds. Along the way, they encounter another hunting party led by KSI, an old friend of Ta's who has recently suffered the loss of his son. Both groups decide to join forces and continue their journey together. Given every opportunity, Kita strives to prove himself to his father, but igniting a fire eludes him, and he can't muster the resolve to slay a boar. His shortcomings leave him feeling like a failure, especially when the other men successfully capture the boar. One fateful night, as they dine by the fire, a sudden noise startles them. They swiftly adopt a defensive stance, only to relax prematurely, a costly mistake. Out of nowhere, a cave lion ambushes and seizes Kaba, carrying him away as its prey. The following day, the men construct a cairn as a memorial service for Kaba, symbolizing the transition of his spirit to the afterlife. Their journey resumes, marked by intermittent hunting and rest. During one evening, in the safety of a large cave, Ta seizes the moment to tattoo Kiva with constellations, ensuring he'll always find his way home like Ta. Days pass until they stumble upon a trail of dung leading them to a herd of steppe bison, bringing the story full circle. In a heart-pounding climax, Kiva clings to a rugged cliff edge, fighting to avoid a fall, but ultimately slipping and landing on a lower ledge, breaking his leg and losing consciousness. Ta desperately attempts a rescue, but his fellow hunters intervene, recognizing it's too late. As the men prepare to transport the bison on sleds, Ta remains at the cliff's edge, tears of denial streaming down his face. With the spoils of their hunt evenly divided, his group sets off on their journey back home, leaving Ta's party with one final night of camping before they convince their leader it's time to move forward. The next morning, Ta constructs another cairn as his tears of grief persist for hours. As the party departs, a vulture lands on Kita, attempting to feed on him. This abrupt intrusion awakens him, and with determination, he dispatches the bird by wringing its neck. He then confronts the grim reality of his predicament. Despite his broken leg, Kita attempts to descend, but there are few rough edges to grasp, leaving him suspended in a harrowing moment. Soon, a storm rolls in, inundating the area below, compelling Kita to accept his fate. He releases his grip and plunges into the water, slipping into unconsciousness once more. When he awakens the following morning, the rain has ceased, and the floodwaters have receded. After quenching his thirst from a pool and improvising a splint for his injured foot, Kita painstakingly ascends to the cliff summit. Here, he discovers the memorial his father had left for him. However, frustration overcomes him as he realizes he's been abandoned and must forge his path home alone. Determined, Kita embarks on a solitary journey, sustaining himself with insects, sourcing water from various pools, and finding refuge in treetops at night to elude predators. One fateful day, a pack of wolves encircles him. Acting swiftly, Kita takes refuge in a tree, managing to wound one of the wolves when it clamps onto his leg before reaching safety. He remains perched atop the tree as the wolves grow weary and depart. Except for the wounded one. Contemplating its fate, Kita readies a spear but can't muster the resolve to end it. Consequently, he decides to ignore it, but this proves challenging. As the wolf's agony lingers, overwhelmed by the wolf's painful cries, Kita resolves to help. He cautiously binds the wolf's snout to prevent bites, then gently lifts and carries it to a nearby lake to clean the wounded area. Regrettably, they can't linger there due to lurking hyenas, so Kita carries the wolf once more, seeking refuge in a secure cave where they can rest. Come morning, Kita stumbles upon a mortar amid scattered bones. He employs it to craft a plant poultice, applying it to his injured foot while the wolf finally frees its snout. Observing the wolf's changed demeanor, Kita offers some of his water, a gesture the wolf eventually accepts despite initial growls. Kita goes the extra mile, employing his mother's fur to cleanse the wound and even sharing the worms he discovers. Yet, worms alone can't sate their hunger. Summoning newfound courage, Kita embarks on his inaugural hunt, taking down a rabbit with a rock. He triumphs once more, sparking a fire and preparing his hard-earned meal. The wolf makes a grab for the rabbit, but Kita swiftly nudges it aside, recalling the leadership lessons from his father. He establishes dominance by always eating first. Winter looms, compelling Kita to venture home before the snowfall. He doubts his ability to make the journey without his father but assembles enough supplies, wrestling with the wolf to reclaim his fur. Leaving the cave, Kita begins his journey with growing frustration, as the persistent wolf refuses to part ways, despite countless attempts to shoo it away. Eventually, Kita relents, accepting the wolf as his unexpected travel companion. He even trains it to respond to his whistle. Initially, their joint hunting efforts prove futile, but with time, they refine their strategy, honing their attacks and securing prey with less effort. After a day spent bathing and fishing in a lake, Kita decides to name the wolf Alpha, recognizing their journey is extending into winter, with snow beginning to fall. One evening, as they dine by the bonfire, a pack of wolves approaches, revealing Alpha's family. Sympathizing with the longing for loved ones, Kita urges Alpha to rejoin its pack, leaving him to continue his solitary journey. As time passes, snowstorms become frequent, hindering Kita's progress each day. He's particularly challenged when a haunting dream of returning home and delivering devastating news to Ro shakes him to the core. After enduring days of relentless storms, Kita stumbles upon Alpha and its pack. Overjoyed, he rushes toward them, but the ice gives way beneath him, plunging him into icy waters. His mother's fur and much of his gear float away, leaving Kita stranded. Using his knife, he manages to break the ice and pull himself out, with Alpha helping him to dry off. Together, they resume their journey, with Kita using Alpha's warmth to stave off the freezing cold during their restless nights. A few miles later, they discover a trail of tracks leading to a remote hut. Sadly, its owner has succumbed to the cold, leaving no food behind. However, Kita seizes a bow and arrow. Sometime later, the duo finds themselves caught between relentless hyenas tailing them and an impending, treacherous storm looming ahead. They dash in search of refuge and chance upon a cave to shelter in. Regrettably, the cave is already occupied by a fierce cave lion that immediately attacks them. Alpha valiantly battles the lion while Kita readies his bow, focusing on a precise shot. With determined aim, he manages to take down the lion, rescuing Alpha, who emerges from the fight severely wounded. As they cautiously resume their journey amidst the snowstorm, they encounter a significant sculpture marking the sacred path, offering Kita a glimmer of hope. His optimism is further buoyed when the northern lights grace the night sky, a celestial sign that his ancestors may be guiding them. Yet, Alpha's strength wanes, and one day, he collapses. Refusing to abandon his friend, Kita hoists the ailing wolf in his arms, ignoring his own weakness and persistent coughing of blood as they press on together. The harsh conditions eventually take their toll on Kita, causing him to collapse. However, a memory from his past emerges as a source of newfound determination. In a vivid dream, he recalls a conversation he overheard between his parents the night before they departed. Tal had assured Ro that Kita possessed hidden strength, even beyond his own awareness. Buoyed by this belief instilled by his father, Kita awakens with renewed vigor. He gathers Alpha once more, carrying her through the relentless storm until they finally arrive back at his tribe's camp. The sight leaves everyone incredulous, and Tal is moved to tears as he expresses his pride in his son. He takes Kita and the wolf into a tent for care. After Kiva is tended to and nourished, the tribe's shaman examines Alpha, quickly discovering her true condition. She's a female wolf about to give birth. The puppies arrive safely and healthy, and the tribe warmly embraces them as part of their extended family. Years later, when the puppies mature into full-grown wolves, they are paired with hunters as steadfast companions, joining in the next great hunt before the onset of winter.